a conductor, current carrying conductor. Let us say current is flowing here, it's I. We are taking the small elemental portion, say dl, small portion dl. Then this IDL is called current element. Current element. IDL is called current element. Only DL is the length, elemental portion. If I say here IDL, it is called current element. Due to this current, we know current producing the magnetic field, and we are interested here to find out the magnetic field produced by this current element, and by integration we can find out the net magnetic field produced by this current element. So here by our law, let us say at a distance of r, at an angle of say theta, suppose there is a point say P here, where magnetic field due to this current element is small dB. This dB is directly proportional to current. If current is more and more, magnetic field is more. If this magnetic field not only depends on current, but depends on this length also. If length is more, magnetic field is more. It depends on theta angle also. It depends on R. The distance from the current element to the point P, where we are interested here to find out the magnetic field. So here dB is directly proportional to I dl theta also, and here R square. If you replace this proportionality sign, proportionality constant comes here, unit upon 4 pi. This is called Biot-Savart law, where mu naught is called permeability of the free space or vacuum, permeability of the free space. So here mu naught upon 4 pi, the numerical value is here 10 to the minus 7, where mu naught is called permeability. Permeability of vacuum or free space. This is the permeability. Permeability is the magnetic property of the medium. The value of this is 4 pi 10 to the minus 7. You should cross multiply it. So this is the Biot-Savart law. With this law, we can find out the magnetic field by this small portion or called current element. By integration, we can find out the net or resultant magnetic field. We know this magnetic field is a vector quantity, and this is the magnitude. So direction must be there.
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, can you again explain, please?
This is Biot-Savart law. Suppose in a conductor of any shape, line conductor. Line conductor means in the line current is flowing, and due to the small portion of this current element, we can find out the magnetic field at a distance of r at an angle of theta at point P. And this is the formula called Biot-Savart law. Okay. Now the vector, it is a vector quantity, so we can write here in the form of a vector this dB, the vector quantity. If you know this dB here, it should be a vector here, mu naught upon 4 pi is proportionality constant, the numerical value is this. I current is not a vector quantity. If you multiply here with R and divide also, then this quantity by the product rule of vectors dl cross r. So it will give you the direction. You can easily find out here the direction of dl cross r by right hand screw rule. The direction of the cross product can be found easily by using the right hand screw rule, or alternatively right hand thumb rule. Fleming's right hand thumb rule. It is different than the Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule we have used here to find out the force on the moving charge particle or current carrying conductor. But it is different. By applying this right hand thumb rule, we can find out the magnetic field direction. How can you apply? Both ways you can apply. Suppose here thumb put in the direction of current, then this curling finger will tell you the direction of magnetic field. Actually, tangent drawn here, it will tell you the direction of magnetic field. If it is circular one, this also can be treated as a current and this is a magnetic field. But this one is more general. This is the current, this is magnetic field, because it can be applied anywhere. Where if you are taking DC current, this is a magnetic field, it can be applied only in curved portion or circular ring. So it is more general here. This current, this is curling finger will tell you the direction of magnetic field. Actually tangent drawn here. If we are applying here just to find out the magnetic field at point P, put it here like this. This is the current and curling finger here. If you put the tangent, draw the tangent, tangent is going into the board. It means here at point P, the direction here of this magnetic field is cross. Cross means what? Going into the board. If you are using the paper, it will be inside the, going into the paper or into the book or into the register, whatever it is. But here into the board. You can apply also, you can easily find out the direction of magnetic field at point P. Suppose point here is P dash. Again, you apply the right hand rule, this, but this is not the correct one because here point P dash is here, not there. At point P, direction of magnetic field going into the board, inward, and here like this, at point P dash, it is coming outward. So cross is inward and dot and circle here is outward. And circle, cross and dot, it shows here something is there inside this circle. It means cross means going into the board and dot means coming out of the board. We are very much familiar this with cross and dot in the cross product in 11th class, because this is a vector. Suppose here this tip of the vector is the dot and from back side cross. So if you look here going into the board, you can see the cross. Coming out, you can see the only dot. So cross means going into the board or going into the paper. Dot means coming out of the board and out of the paper. So you can easily apply this one, no problem. Got it? This is all about Biot-Savart law. Now we'll see the application part of Biot-Savart law. Any doubt here? I think there's nothing here. There's simply Biot-Savart law, magnitude only, and this one, the same Biot-Savart law in the vector form. We can find out the direction by right hand screw rule, or alternately by the right hand thumb rule. Here I am taking, there is the direction of current thumb and curling finger direction of magnetic field. We can use it vice versa also, but there is a limitation. Limitation is only for circular part we can apply this one. This is more general. Any doubt here? Okay, direction wise you can find. You can find the direction because in each and every case we have to find out the direction of magnetic field. First application here. Any doubt you tell me, otherwise I'll start the application, first application of this Biot-Savart law. Any doubt, please ask. No? Okay. Then cram this formula here given by equation 1. It is what? It is Biot-Savart law. So here we are applying this Biot-Savart law to find out the magnetic field at the center of the current carrying circular coil. Current carrying circular coil. Let us discuss here. This is the circular coil. I am taking this also here. Why I have taken this twice? Reason here is current can be clockwise here also or anti-clockwise here also. So current is flowing like this here. Let us say this is the radius R, but here like this. This is the current. So in this first case, in figure 1, the direction of current is clockwise. In second, it is anti-clockwise. So this is figure 1 and figure 2. You can see the difference. Now, if you apply here Biot-Savart law only direction, then put this thumb here at the current and curling finger must be there where we are interested to find out the direction of magnetic field between this. If you apply like this, at the center, direction of magnetic field is going into the board, means here cross. If you apply the same thing here, it is coming out, so it is dot. What is the difference here? See this, it is the south pole. Because the direction of magnetic field is going into the board, and direction of magnetic field in case of any magnet or coil, that is the lines of force of magnetic field are from south pole to north pole inside the coil or inside the solenoid or inside the magnet, but outside it is north to south, inside south to north. So this one will be definitely south pole, and here coming out, so it is north pole. By looking this current like this, if you draw here like this, you can say it is the south pole, and in the direction of current like this here, it is the north pole. So it is called clock rule. It is called clock rule. Clock rule means if the current in the circular path and the circular coil in clockwise direction, we are getting the south pole. If the current in the circular path or coil in anti-clockwise direction, we are getting the north pole. It is called clock rule. You are also familiar, you are really familiar with in 10th class, clock rule. You have gone through the clock rule and this Fleming's left hand rule, right hand rule. Okay, any doubt? So you must know at times, just by saying the direction of current clockwise, you say here south pole is forming. In the anti-clockwise direction, it is north pole. Very easy. Now, to find out the magnitude, we have found already the direction. Now we are interested to find out the magnetic field magnitude. We can find out the magnitude by using this Biot-Savart law. We are taking this here, small current element and portion ideal. What is theta here? the angle between current element and the radius vector here, this is theta what? 90 degree. If you apply it here, the magnetic field M is short magnetic field at center due to the current element. Due to the current element dl or IDL, this dV is equal to, using the Weis-Sauer law, mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta. Theta here is 90 degree upon r square. So mu naught I upon 4 pi I dl upon r square. There is a magnetic field. Suppose we are interested to find out the net magnetic field, resultant magnetic field at the center. We can integrate it. By integration, the limit should be 0 to 2 pi r. What this should be the limit of this dl? It should be definitely perimeter, circumference, so 0 to 2 pi r. It is 0 to 2 pi r. It means here mu naught I upon say 4 pi r square and 2 pi r. Here if you cancel out pi r and 2, we are getting simply mu naught I upon 2r. So this is the final formula here at the center. Is the net magnetic field at the center of circular coil. We have taken single term for the simplicity. If you are taking more number of terms, then more number of terms, suppose n terms are there, simply multiply with n. If number of terms n is the number of terms, then simply multiply mu naught I upon 2r with n. N is the total number of turns in the coil, circular coil at the center. If the number of turns is 1, replace capital N with 1, 2, 3, 4, like. As a special case, we will take n will be half also, 1/3 also, 1/5, 1/10 also, like. Because it is not that 1 turn, but maybe half, maybe quarter, maybe small portion. Even that magnetic field is there. We'll discuss, but up to this point, you are telling me any doubt? N is the number of turns simply. And maybe in integer. We'll discuss when n is in as fraction. Okay? Hurry up, please.
Sir,
Yes.
so magnetic field at the center is the highest, no?
In what sense you can say highest? In what sense? It depends on current, it depends on radius, it depends on number of turns. If current is more and number of turns are more, directly proportional, so more. If R is less, B is more. So it depends on 3 factors here. It depends on the magnetic material also. We have taken here vacuum, no material medium. So it depends on many things. Okay, आदित्य, आपके दिमाग में क्या एक बार बताएं, क्या क्या सोच के पूछ रहे आप? By the formula itself, you can see it depends on this, this, and this. Maximum in what sense? Please ask. Okay, clear na? It depends on these 3 factors. So the value of I, N, and R, depending on these, we can say this is the value of magnetic field. Maximum means what? Current. There is no end of it. N, no end of it. R can be very small also. So you can't say maximum minimum here. Got it now? Any other doubt? because this is very simple. So let me proceed to difficult situations in numerical, especially. Suppose we are taking n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, put it here. Suppose the value of n is not the 1, even less. But let's suppose here this is the semicircle and current is I, radius is r. In that case, at the center O here, but the value of magnetic field B is equal to what? Mu naught I upon 2r is the formula of magnetic field if the single turn is there. If half, simply multiply with half. Got it? Or the angle here, because the arc length is related with the angle, so we are using here half definitely, but it can be expressed this way also. Angle here is at the center making by the semicircular path is 180 divided by 360. This is in degree. You can write in radian also. Radian means here pi radian upon 2 pi, we are getting half. So half or 180 upon 360, suppose we are taking the quarter, in that case 90 upon 360 means 1 by 4. In general, suppose this is the portion only. It is not the half, it is not 1/3, it is not say 1/4, but any. And this is the say current I, and this is the radius, suppose R here, and this angle here, at the center making say theta. In that case, factor comes here like 180 upon 360, like 90 upon 360, like in general, we are getting this is a magnetic field due to the single turn. And here a factor comes here theta upon 360, a theta in degree, then divided by 360, a theta in radian divided by 2 pi. So this is the fundamental formula in general. If it is a semicircle, theta is 180 upon 360, is quarter circle. So here this is the most general formula you can apply for any sort of argument given. Got it? This is the more general formula. This is the magnetic field due to the single circle or turn, and this is you can say multiplier. If theta is more and more, definitely magnetic field is more and more. And direction you can find out. If clockwise, cross here, north pole, south pole, anti-clockwise, north pole at the center outward, coming outward. So here inward, because I have taken the direction clockwise. Note it down. Now another application, this was the first application to find out the magnetic field at the center of circular current or current carrying coil, circular coil. This is the magnetic field at the center here into circular coil. So it is simple one. Center at center. Suppose axial we will discuss later. I am not mixing with this, otherwise you may confuse. So this is the formula here. A magnetic field at the center of this circular coil. Should I rub this? All of you note it down. Next one, to find out the magnetic field here at a distance from from infinitely, or you can say here very long. Infinitely as a special case will teach from a long straight current carrying here current carrying, here straight, here very long. Okay? There are many cases. We'll take one by one. It may be infinitely long, it may be semi-infinitely long, it may be finitely long, different cases. So, again, we are using the Biot-Savart law to derive this relation. This is a conductor, very long conductor, and let us discuss. This is very long conductor like this, and suppose here this is the current element, IDL, very long. Suppose XY is the conductor, very long conductor, and now this is the situation here at an angle of theta at a distance of r. There is a point P where we are interested to find out the magnetic field. So by applying the Biot-Savart law, there is a magnetic field small dV here at point P, given by using Biot-Savart law. This is the magnetic field here. Simply using that formula, mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta upon r square. This is the Biot-Savart law. But that previous case was very simple. Theta 90 degree. Here theta is a variable. It depends on from the current element P position, P point where it is. Suppose it is somewhere here, there. It means theta is a variable quantity. Distance also varying, and this current element may be small, may be larger. So these are also variable. Now this is a very puzzling problem. There are three variables. With what respect we can integrate? I am confused here because we can integrate with single variable. There are three variables. So what to do? You convert three variables into a single variable in such a way so that you can easily integrate. Got the point? How many variables are there? DL is a variable, maybe large or small. Theta is also variable, it depends on the position of P. R is also variable, depends on the position of P. So there are three variables. Now let us say, suppose here from this wire, this is the perpendicular distance A. This is the perpendicular distance A. Let this angle is phi. This angle is phi. With this figure, you can easily see theta plus phi is how much? 90, because this is 180. So this is 90, it means theta plus phi is 90. So theta means, theta will be 90 minus phi. Or sin theta is a variable, it means here sin theta can be written as sin 90 minus phi, or sin theta will be cos phi. So here we replace sin theta with cos phi. Now R and L. Now A upon R, how much? A upon R is? A upon R is this perpendicular upon this sin theta. I am not taking sin theta. I am taking this variable phi. In terms of phi, A upon R is what? base upon hypotenuse, so cos phi. So cos phi can be written as A upon R, or R can be written as A upon cos phi. So this is the second replacement of R in terms of phi. A is fixed quantity. This is the distance from the perpendicular distance of point P from the straight wire. So this is constant. Now dl, and this is the distance dl. This is the distance dl. Now dl upon R, or A upon dl, because they are again two variables. So it is better here. Dl upon A is what? 10, perpendicular upon this base. So dl upon A is what? It is 10 phi. By cross multiplication, you can write here dl will be A 10 phi. Okay. But suppose if you take here L, then write here L. If you differentiate, you get dl. This suppose like L, we are not taking dl here. Dl is this one. So this is suppose L, it is bigger one. Maybe suppose this point is here, then L is cannot be dl. So it is L length. So L upon A 10 y, L will be this. If you differentiate, you'll get dl, because here we have to replace not L but dl. So differentiating is 10 phi, differentiation is 10 phi is sec square phi. Sec square phi. So this is the another replacement. Now sin theta in there can be replaced with cos phi. R is replaced with A upon cos phi, and dl with A sec square phi d phi in this. So putting the value of sin theta, R and dl in equation 1, putting these values, put in equation 1, we get this dv will be equal to what? Mu naught upon 4 pi I, and dl will be with this A sec square phi d phi, and sin theta is cos phi. R will be here square, so A square upon cos square phi. Now 1 upon cos means sec, so you can just cancel out this with this, and A can be cancelled out. Now what is the remaining here? dv will be mu naught I cos phi d phi, and here 4 pi upon say A, like this. 4 pi A. Let us say this equation is 2. This equation is 2. Up to equation 2, you tell me any doubt? Because simply we have put the value of sin theta, R and dl in equation 1. We have put the values of sin theta, R and dl in equation 1 only, nothing else. And by simplification, we get this equation 2. After this, any doubt? Just note down and you can ask any doubt. Because some biased students are there. That's why I'm asking. Because nothing is there here. Very simple, very, very elementary trigonometry and just conversion. Anyway, anybody is having any doubt, please hurry up. Hurry up, this chapter is very, very lengthy. I cannot go very fast also because you will not understand it. I cannot go with very slow speed. This chapter is very lengthy. So my request is just note down, hurry up, and you can ask any doubt. Otherwise, we'll proceed. Waiting for any doubt. Hurry up, please. Anybody is having any doubt? Just tell me. No. Then consider equation 2. So I am writing this equation 2 here by rubbing this all. Should I? Okay. So up to this, I think these 3 lines we are noted down, and this is the equation here. Maybe again writing this equation here. Mu naught upon 4 pi I cos phi. Now, what is good thing here? We can integrate because single variable is there, phi. Single variable is there, only phi. Now, if you say now F to Y, total length of this conductor covered, and this angle say here, this is phi 1 and this angle is phi. Okay, lower portion is making angle here phi 1 and this angle is from the above phi 2. There's nothing, but I am taking here phi 1 is negative, phi 2 is positive. Why? Math student can tell easily because clockwise angle is negative and anti-clockwise angle is positive. We are taking the angle from the x-axis in the anti-clockwise direction positive, and it is clockwise negative. That's why I have taken here phi 1 negative and phi 2 positive. So what should be the limit? Kunal, Shikhar, Gautam, Adit, I can see you. You tell me what should be the limit here? I have written here from minus phi 1 to plus phi 2. So limit should be minus phi 1 to plus phi 2. This should be the limit. In limit, any doubt? We are taken because of clockwise sense, minus phi 1, anti-clockwise plus. Now cos phi, what is the integration? Integration of cos phi. It is sin phi. So here mu naught upon 4 pi I upon A was also there here. Now putting the limit is sin phi minus phi 1 plus phi 2. Putting the upper limit, then it should be B naught or resultant mu naught I upon 4 pi A sin phi 2 and minus sin of minus phi 1, that is plus. So the final formula will become this also plus. You can write it here like say mu naught I upon 4 pi A and here sin phi 1 plus sin phi 2. There is the resultant formula final for magnetic field resultant or net is given by equation 3. Up to this, we have put the limit minus phi 1 to plus phi 2. By integrating this cos phi, putting the lower upper limit, we got this final relation or final formula, final expression. Any doubt up to this? Hurry up, please. Any doubt, please tell me. Now we are taking the special case. Special case means, suppose first case, infinitely large wire. If wire is infinitely large, infinitely large. What does it mean? Infinitely large. Then the value of phi 1 and phi 2, if it is very large, phi 2 increasing up to 90. And suppose this is also, lower one is also very large, this point is a very large distance. So phi 1 is also 90. So for infinitely large wire, straight wire, phi 1, phi 2 both 90. So phi 1 equal to phi 2 equal to 90 degree. If you are putting the value of phi 1, phi 2, sin 90 plus sin 90 is what? 1 plus 1, 2. Divided by this, so cutting. After this, we get here mu naught I upon 4 pi a, and here 1 plus 1. So simply by solving this, 2 cancel out, so 2 pi a. This is the final formula here for infinitely large current carrying wire. This is the final formula we are getting, mu naught I upon 2 pi a. Noted down? Then in the same formula, if I am taking say finite wire, then this is the formula. Same finite means इसकी length मालूम. Suppose it is semi-infinite, very confusing word here. Semi-infinite means what? This. A very long wire here on the lower side and up to this. So phi 1 is what? 90. Phi 2 will be 0. If I am taking this case, from here it is say very large. So phi 2 is here 90 degree. And phi 1 here is 0. It means here, if we are taking semi-infinitely long wire, second case, if we are taking the semi-infinitely long wire, then phi 1 is 0 degree, phi 2 is 90 degree, or this. It means sin 0 is 0, sin 90 is 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1, or 0 plus 1 is 1. It means here it comes this one. B naught will be mu naught I upon 4 pi a. Got this point? Semi-infinite is infinite. Very confusing here discussion. Very confusing discussion. Because a very long wire infinite divided by 2, divided by 10, divided by 1000, divided by lakhs of, even it is infinite. Then why we are considering here it is semi-infinite, not infinite. Reason behind here is why it is still infinitely long. But from one side only we are getting the magnetic field, not from the other point. Because it depends on the selection of point in such a way. For length, it is really infinite. Still, it is not semi-infinite, means infinite. But for magnetic field, yes, it is half part is giving you the magnetic field, and next half part is not giving you the magnetic field. This is the logic here. So the angle is 0 and 90 or 90 and 0. We are getting this formula for semi-infinitely long wire. Got it now?